Hello everybody and welcome to the 2024 options process for children in Year 9 who will be starting their options in September 2024. I'm Mr. Endacott, I'm the Deputy Head Teacher and I will be walking you through the options process over the next 15 or so minutes. This is what I like to refer to as the funnels. This has the number of subjects that children take in each year group. So when your children come to us in Year 7, Year 8, Year 9, they study a very large number of subjects, 16 subjects in each of those year groups. There are no subjects where they're able to opt not to do them. Now, when they get to Year 10 and Year 11, they're able to make choices in terms of those subjects, and they're able to pick a smaller number of subjects. Now, those subjects have to include English, maths and science, but they get a large say in terms of the other subjects that they might choose to study or not study according to their ability, their careers, their ambitions, all those sorts of things in terms of determining ultimately what goes into those subjects, those choices they make in Year 9 to study in Year 10. And then, of course, when they go on to post-16, when they get to Year 12, the number of subjects is going to reduce even further. So we've gone from 16 subjects in Year 7, 8 and 9, we've gone to 9 subjects in Year 10 and Year 11, and then potentially when they go into Year 12 and Year 13, so a couple of years down the line, they're potentially just going to study 3 subjects, and ultimately they'll perhaps then go on to a university or a job where they're just using a single subject. The number of subjects that children study naturally kind of decreases over time as they work out what they're good at, what they enjoy, etc. So this is the curriculum in terms of Year 10 and Year 11. We've got 60 periods in a fortnight, and this is how those periods are carved up. So we said, didn't we, on the previous slide, that everybody has to continue to do English, maths and science, and that accounts for half of all of the curriculum time that we have. So English is a double GCSE, English language and English literature. Maths is a single GCSE, and science is at least 2 GCSEs, in some cases 3 GCSEs. But that's 50% of the time that we have, so that's 30 sessions over the fortnight. That then leaves the other 30 sessions in terms of how that time is carved up. Now, some of that time is taken up with compulsory subjects which are non-examined, and I'm talking now about PE, PSHE and RE, and there are 6 sessions there that all pupils take in Year 10 and Year 11, where they won't get a GCSE in those subjects, but it is really important that they continue to engage with those subjects, study those subjects, which will prepare them for life and work in Britain, make sure they make good choices in terms of health, fitness, etc., and look after themselves. Now, the rest of the time that the children have, so we've got 30 periods there for English, maths and science, we've got 6 periods there for PE, PSHE and RE, that's 36 periods. The other 24 periods are the options subjects. So children in Year 10 and Year 11 pick 3 option subjects, one from option A, one from option B, and one from option C. And these are their additional GCSE subjects. So in addition to English, maths and science, these are the subjects where children have chosen to do those subjects and will complete those subjects as part of their curriculum in Year 10 and Year 11. I'm going to talk to you very briefly now about the timeline in terms of the options process, because it is a fairly tight set of timescales, but by the time you finish for Easter, hopefully the options process is complete and we've all made our options preferences. So that process started this week and last week with your parents' evenings, which were an opportunity for you to talk to your subject teachers, talk to the academic staff about how well you'd done in those assessments and whether or not they thought you were suitable really in terms of taking those subjects at GCSEs, and those conversations may have already started. Today's Wednesday, the 6th of March, so today you've been given your packs in terms of your choices. You're able to start looking at option subjects and accessing all of the material there. Now on Monday next week, Monday the 11th of March, I'm going to ask you to make some very initial picks in terms of subjects, and I'm going to ask you to pick 3 subjects next Monday and just let me know which 3 subjects it is that you are looking at and thinking at this moment in time you like the idea of studying. On Friday the 15th of March, I should then be able to share with you a model in terms of the options, and I should be able to talk about which subjects are in Block A, Block B and Block C, and enable you to see those blocks and work out which subjects you're going to pick from. And the idea of creating that model after having asked you to do those initial options picks, is that I can create a model that works for everybody and gives the most number of people the opportunity to study all three of their first choice subjects, assuming they don't change their mind and nothing else in the process sort of makes them think differently. On Thursday, the 21st of March, we've got our online options meeting, so a bit like the online parents evening that you did this week. This is your opportunity to book in with staff for the option subjects and have conversations with them about your suitability for those courses, get answers to any questions you've got, etc. On the 22nd of March, you've got your face-to-face taster morning, so Year 9 will be off timetable, certainly for period 1 to period 4, to try as many option subjects as they need to and just make sure those subjects are the right ones for them. Now, the following week after that, that's when you can actually start to begin to make your preferences and tell me about your options preferences. And that will be done via a Microsoft Forms document that I share with you on the Monday morning via Satchel 1, and you can tell me what it is you'd like to do. Now, by Thursday, the 28th of March, hopefully I will have heard from everybody and you will have submitted to me your choices in terms of your options preferences to start in September 2024. When I talk about blocks, I ought to just explain very quickly what this means. Blocks are essentially lists of subjects that appear and are taught at the same time. So if you look at block A there's a big question mark next to it because I don't know what's going to be in block A. So this is with you now in terms of telling me which subjects you want to do, and then I'll put it into a piece of software which will generate for me a model, and then we'll try and make sure that model gives the highest number of children possible all three of their first choices. So the subjects in block A, when we publish that, they will all be taught at the same time. Those subjects will all take place at the same time. Block B all at the same time, block C at the same time, and you need to pick one subject from each block when that model comes out. We ask all children to pick at least one subject from computer science, French, geography and history as part of the GCSE process. You are free to pick more than one subject from that list in terms of the GCSEs, but these are the high tariff GCSEs that the government is keen to encourage children to study, and as such we ask everybody to pick at least one of those GCSEs as part of their options process. They're free to pick more than one, but at least one in terms of the options picks. I get asked every year about what the difference between a BTEC subject and a GCSE subject is, and when you look through the options material, you'll notice that probably 2/3 of the subject are categorised as GCSEs and 1/3 of the subjects are categorised or precursed by the prefix BTEC on those qualifications. The answer is they're both assessed slightly differently, and that's the difference between the two qualifications. So a GCSE subject is one where pupils are assessed predominantly via exam. Those exams are taken often at the terminal point in terms of the qualification, so at the end of the qualification. The example there is computing, which is my subject. So computing is 100% exam. Those exams are sat at the end of Year 11, so in May or June of Year 11, and that is going to determine how children get their grade or what children get in terms of grade in computing. The alternative to a GCSE, if you perhaps don't want all that pressure in terms of exams at the end of your courses, is that you look at something like a BTEC, and a reasonable model might be to do perhaps one BTEC or maybe a couple of BTECs and a GCSE according to your preference. And the reason they are slightly different is that a BTEC is often assessed via a mixture of exams and coursework which is completed over the duration of the course, so over the time that children study those qualifications. And often by the time children get to Year 11 and the end of Year 11, they've got no more work to be assessed by the May or June of Year 11 because they've done all of the work over the duration of the course. So the example on the screen there is sport. Sport is assessed by one exam that pupils often sit in Year 10 and then two pieces of controlled assessment. They're not equally weighted. The exam is actually worth more than either piece of controlled assessment individually, but that's how that qualification is assessed. So it's worth just thinking about whether you are somebody that's going to excel in terms of looking at BTECs or GCSEs or a bit of a mixture of both, but it's possibly worth thinking about not doing 3 BTECs because that's going to put a huge amount of pressure on you in terms of churning out coursework over the duration of a qualification. So you're perhaps looking for a bit of a blended model here in terms of BTECs and GCSEs. I think my message here in terms of options and careers is that as you sit watching this presentation, you're probably thinking, I've not got a clue what I want to do in terms of careers, and that's absolutely fine. You're 14 years old, you're likely to change your mind a number of times yet, and on the screen in front of you now, you've got all of the different careers that I thought that I wanted to do, probably from when I was 13, 14 years old, all the way up to 16, 17 years old. So I thought I wanted to be a solicitor. Turns out I didn't. I did some work experience in a solicitor's office and realised that was absolutely not what I wanted to do. Thought I wanted to be a firefighter, a police officer. My eyesight unfortunately wasn't good enough to do either of those careers, so decided maybe I'd go and be a pilot. And again, that was something that I decided I didn't want to do, having spent a little bit of time looking into the industry. The point I'm making is it's okay not to know what you want to do in terms of careers when you are 14 years old. You may well change your mind a number of times as you go through the world of work, employment, etc., and all of the qualifications that you're going to do, and that's fine. The options process is designed to be able to allow you to go into any career. So we're not looking to prevent you from doing a particular career. We're looking to set you up with the best possible suite of qualifications so you can go on and do any career actually in terms of options. So don't panic if you sat there thinking, I've no idea what I want to do in terms of a job when I finished here. That's fine, that's totally the norm. Equally, if you've got a particular career in mind, yeah, do talk to us and we can make sure that the options that you are doing will support your journey into that career, which they absolutely should. Just a couple of things for you now in terms of making good choices, informed choices in terms of the options process. We'll look at the do column first of all. Do pick subjects that you enjoy, things that you're good at, things that you are likely to enjoy over the duration of those qualifications. Do think about your A-levels, higher education, career prospects, etc. if you're able to. So if you do have a career path in mind, do have a think about that. However, there's nothing is going to be narrowed as a result of your options process. Do keep your options open by choosing a broad range of subjects. And what I mean here is, do think about doing quite a diverse range of subjects, and that probably is going to sort of stand you in better stead if you're not sure what career you want to go into, rather than doing a very narrow range of subjects where you're doing perhaps 3 subjects from one particular faculty and it's going to lean very much towards a particular career or area of work. And do listen to the advice that you're being given through the process. We've done this a number of times. This is designed to help you make good choices. Now, things not to do in terms of the options process. Now, every year, I'll guarantee I'll have all of these probably on this list here. Please don't pick subjects because your friendship group are doing a particular suite of subjects or a particular subject. You are going to be assessed in that subject and ultimately awarded a GCSE or a BTEC qualification in that subject. It's really important that you are picking that subject to do because you want to do it rather than because your friends are doing that subject. Don't pick subjects because you like the teacher in that subject and you think, yeah, get on with them, they're okay. I think they'll do a decent job in terms of teaching me that subject. Staffing changes every year. We've not run any of the staffing for next year in terms of who's going to teach these classes. We're now a school where we have more than one of most teachers, so it's entirely possible that you'll end up with a teacher who's perhaps not the one that you had in your head when you picked that subject. So please don't pick subjects just because you get on with a particular teacher. If you are somebody who thinks, a subject might involve a lot of practical, so you're looking at some of our more, I'm thinking of things like sport, I'm thinking of things like hospitality, and you think, great, I'd love to cook every week in hospitality, or I'd love to go outside and do sport every week in those subjects. Please can I ask you to talk to those subjects about what the practical will look like within those subjects, because it may be that you're not out there every week, twice a week doing practical. It might be the practical part of that qualification is not as significant as you thought. But please don't just pick subjects because they've got a title that you've done at Key Stage 3 and you think, great, that's going to involve lots and lots of practical and I'm going to get my GCSE by just turning up and doing the practical. In terms of that subject, they will always involve lots of extra work, lots of extra written work in many cases. So please don't pick things just because you think they're practical. And the last one is fret. Fret is quite an old-fashioned word, but it means worry. Please don't worry. Talk to us, talk to your parents, talk to the tutor team, talk to me. If we can arrange a careers interview for you, if you're thinking I really would like to have a careers interview, we can do that. Talk to your peers by all means, but don't be massively influenced by them. But please don't panic. This is not a life-defining moment. This is part of your education. You are naturally going to go from those 16 subjects down to 9 subjects, and we want to do this, as painlessly as possible. So please don't panic or worry about this overly. So what can you do now over the next month? So the first thing is look at all the material on the website and in the booklet. So the website has links on there to each of the option subjects and those videos that give you more information on those courses and what they might involve, what percentage of control assessment versus exam are there, what you'll actually be studying. Please do engage with all that material there because it's been prepared to help you make good choices. Do talk to your parents, do talk to your tutors, do talk to the teaching teams. If you've got a particular question about a subject that you'd like answering, do pop up and see that subject to find out a bit more about it. They'd be only too happy to answer any questions. Don't be afraid to stop back at the end of lessons. Do book in to see staff on the 21st of March so you can ask specific questions about those courses, things that aren't in the video, etc. But do use that as your slot to talk about your suitability for those courses and have any conversations with staff that haven't already taken place. And then the final one is do get stuck into that taster morning on the 22nd of March. This is your opportunity to try a year 10, year 11 lesson in a particular subject. Do get stuck into that. Do have a good go at that and see. Ask yourself the question as you go in, can I see myself doing 8 lessons a fortnight in this subject? Can I see myself doing well in this subject? And if the answer is yes, then we'd absolutely love to have you doing that subject. So over the next month, do get stuck into the options process. Do make sure you ask any questions. Please don't panic. It's something that we've done a number of times before. And I hope you found this useful. Thank you very much.